city. I did it for the love. I did it for the people. I did it for us.
Back on this rap-ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own, tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues. Guess if you ain't at the table, you on the menu, and I'm that spitter, baby. They don't want you to see, but everybody's south of Capitol Hill's rocking with me. Boys smoke the trays and ponder getting their life together. I'm comfortable with my role, so I'm like, whatever. Me? I ain't got a job, but I work hard. And you don't work hard, but you got a job. The irony is I'm judged while you feel the applause. I'm slept on, that's why I had to set this alarm. My dudes is armed, I'm armed with this arm charm. Body banging like she got that cream from Barry Bonds. Yeah.
I did it for the city. I did it for the love. I did it for the people. I did it for us.
That trade season is here. A real hitter with a mic, I'm everything that they fear. With that hood ain't the same, I was all on their ass, I'm level-headed. So yo, my dudes love when I spaz. And I'm so over Seattle's passive-aggressive attitude. They don't call you back, what they really saying is F you. While I'm from the same place, I move at a different pace. I prefer if you just said it to my face, damn, I did it.
I did it for the city. I did it for the love. I did it for the people. I did it for us.
Average dudes with they average spit, writing average rhymes, knocking average chicks. The closer I get, I can feel the people starting to shift. I'm loyal to a fault, and everybody can't come with. Rap's a rich man's game. I'm only playing with change. They bang models and singers. I'm knocking my own flame. I'm different. The crowd, I move with the chosen few. Black thoughts, I could be the front man for the roots. No diamonds and gold, I'm on my sticks and stones. If we can see your panty line, you should have on a thong. My team is strong, through this fire we forged the bond. And they already know what it is when I get on. To the hearse, party like it's December 31st. When I'm on my deathbed, I probably cracking my nurse. You ain't got the bars to compete. I'm a verbal athlete, deflating these boys so they say that I cheat. Damn, I did it.
I did it for the city. I did it for the love. I did it for the people. I did it for us.
Yeah. I should probably start by apologizing for the long wait, man. You know, I know I be tripping. But I'm not just a rapper, I'm an artist. And, you know, my creative process is a little bit different than most. Nonetheless, I want to welcome everybody out to the Dre's Experience. I got TCF in the building. My whole camp's here with me. I got the band in here letting this cool-ass vibe. And I'm Seattle's own. Let's get into it.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Update Show. I am your host, Trey Holiday. I want to welcome you to the Morning Update Show right here in the Black Media Matters studios. It is another terrific Tuesday for you. I get to host the show right here on a solo mission, allowing O to take some much needed time. But honestly, we have an amazing show for you guys today. We have our girl, Queen Bree, is in the building. She's going to be giving us some more updates about this last stretch of Black History Month over there at Rainier Avenue Radio. We also will be talking to Rob Ross. He has an amazing event coming over there to Langston Hughes, and Stephan Thomas. He's taking a run out there for King County Prosecutor. Can't wait to dive into it with him. So you guys, welcome. Thank you so much for watching today. And of course, right now is a perfect time for you to go ahead and tag and share the stream. Please tag and share the stream with people that you feel could benefit from culturally responsive news emanating from right here in the Emerald City. Also, I want to remind you guys that you can listen to the Morning Update Show anywhere that you guys are watching right now, and anywhere you guys find podcasts. Right there, we got SoundCloud, but you guys can also check us out at Google, iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music. Anywhere you find podcasts, you can listen to the Morning Update Show. If you're unable to watch us, go ahead and listen to us on your drive into the job. Also got to give a big shout out to our partners over there at KBCS 91.3 and at the South Seattle Emerald. We appreciate you guys and your partnership. You guys, we keep this message alive. And now, I mean, you guys know we've been talking about the vaccine ever since it was a thing, right? But now there are culturally responsive ads and communications being put out there by the Department of Health with their Here For Us WA campaign. So you guys can find out more at hereforuswa.org. I know Salman is putting that link there in the comments. But you guys can check it out. They really connected with some Black producers, Black content creators, talking to Black community members. I mean, this is really Black on Black on Black. They're really being intentional about getting some communications out there that are reflective of our cultural experience. And there's such a wide variety of perspectives out there. We've been running a commercial. We'll be playing it later in the show. I mean, people that were actually hesitant and found their own reasons to get the vaccine. We know many of you out there are still hesitant, which is totally okay as well. You guys can click on that link and find more information. They are being intentional again about keeping those resources updated on that website for you guys to peruse through. So if you're looking for a vaccine, if you're looking for testing, a booster, if you're looking for a site near you, they can get you that information. And as we've been talking about here with public health, one of the great things is if you're still hesitant to be out here in these crowds, makes sense completely. You guys also, there are opportunities for people to come to your home if you're still feeling a bit hesitant about being in some of these lines or in these crowds. Also, too, I want to say that, you know, a lot of places right now are taking appointments and they're being very specific about not creating large crowds. So again, there's information right there at hereforuswa.org for you guys to learn more about what's going on in your neighborhood and also get some real communications that are directed to say, look, we understand all of the reasons why. Let's dive into these discussions and let's use some facts to help back up these arguments. Okay, so we want to also make sure you guys know, I mean, these are still out here, covidtest.gov. If you guys are looking for, you know, those at-home tests, a lot of places right now are, because, you know, everybody I think is getting prepared for this mask mandate to end here March 21st. So certain institutions are taking matters into their own hands with rapid testing on site. This covidtest.gov allows you to get up to 4 tests sent to your home. So, you know, every home can register for these 4 tests. And honestly, you know, it's another way for you to be like, before I go somewhere, let me be sure that I'm being safe and healthy and I'm protecting those around me, particularly for those of you out there in our community that have been very, you know, cautious to visit your elders in your family or elders in your community. And you want to be sure that you're keeping them safe. These at-home rapid tests are an easy way to do just that. So again, check out covidtest.gov. Make sure you guys get those 4 free tests into your home. Well, we have a great show today. And before we dive into our guests coming up here after the short break, I want to just encourage you guys. I've been learning a lot about legislative bills that are out there right now. There are some cannabis equity bills that are pushing for the cannabis industry to finally recognize the war on drugs and what it did to the Black community in particular. And I encourage you guys, if you guys go to washington.gov, you guys will actually be able to look up all these bills. You can put them into Google, bills right now in Washington state. It'll start pulling up the numbers for you guys to get educated yourself. One of the things that I heard yesterday at the African American Legislative Day brought on by APRI, they've been doing it for years, but we got to hear from the Legislative Black Caucus. And one of the things that they really said in terms of how we can stay engaged as community members and caregivers of our neighborhoods, that we need to be engaged. We need to be checking up with them. We need to be emailing them and sending them letters about the things that matter to us. You know, they are just representatives, right? At the end of the day, they are representatives of our communities and of our neighborhoods, but they need your support in order to rep hard for the things that you want to see happening in your legislative departments and at the state level. They said, look, we can't do this without the support. But when you sign in And you, even if you just sign in and say you're pro this bill or con this bill, either you're for or against it, that actually benefits them in their ways to champion your efforts. You know, when they have a swell of support coming from the community, it makes it very clear that, you know, look, this is what community wants, and I'm just a steward of community needs and community demand. And that's something that they need. They need to hear from us. And so, you know, you guys can learn more about the Legislative Black Caucus. They have several videos actually that they showcased yesterday on YouTube as well. And so you guys can learn about who they are, who's representing us at the state level. And I want to send a special shout out over there to the 44th Legislative District. They are the only district right now in the state that is completely Black led. So they have 2 Black state representatives and a Black it's just not state right, Black senator. So it's a beautiful thing to be able to see that all 3 of those representatives coming out of the 44th district are right there representing for Black needs. And the crazy thing about the 44th district is that the Black population is only 2.5% of the population up there. This is Snohomish County, y'all. So this is way up north. But they were saying that honestly, they are here to listen to those community members and to make sure that the demands that they want, the things that they want, are pushing through. So shout out to everybody over there that is doing their job in the Legislative Black Caucus, chaired by Jamila Taylor. She is Federal Ways State Representative, so one of my state reps out of the 30th district. And it was great to hear from all of them. I've been able to connect with Kirsten Harris Talley, KHT, as she's been known now, over here in the 37th district. The idea is that we have the opportunity as a community to constantly push in the civic process for the things that we are looking for is alive and well. So you guys know I'm always encouraging you to see yourself as a part of the solution. And one of the ways that you can do just that is by getting engaged. There are some bills that still need your support, whether you're pro or con. Just make sure that your voice is being heard in the legislative districts that you belong to. It's important. So after this short break, you guys, we got Queen Bree coming up. She's going to share with us a few more of these events as Rainier Avenue Radio has been having their finger on the pulse of Black History Month. Can't wait to hear from her and all the amazing things going on through the end of the month. Stay tuned, you guys. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
Hey guys, Besa Gordon here, and before heading to Belize, Trey Holiday and I had to make sure we linked up with our good friends over at Market Street Shoes to, of course, grab a few things for the trip. From bags to socks, shoes, sunglasses, earrings, and more. Before going on any trip, make sure you stop at Market Street Shoes. Trust me, you'll find just what you need to make your trip not only enjoyable, but fashionable.
When the pandemic hit, it did affect me. As a barber, I had my own personal reasons why I didn't get vaccinated. At the time, I didn't check the actual source. I thought the vaccine was developed too fast, but I was talking to a doctor and he was telling me more about the vaccine and what it can do to protect us and our family. I wanted to get back to that once was, right? I do feel safe knowing that I am vaccinated. I just hope what I'm saying is reaching into people's heads to know that this is the best decision for all of us.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Update Show. I'm your host, Trey Holiday, and joining me right now is, she's becoming a real good friend right here at the Morning Update Show, Queen Bree from Rainier Avenue Radio. Hi.
What's going on? Hey, Trey. Nice to see you as always.
Yeah, great to see you again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You know, you're fitting right in here at the Converge family, and you know, it's a beautiful thing because last year we did these segments with Tony B, and it was like every week there were some amazing things going on, and I just love your presence being here in the studio. So thanks for representing for Rainier Avenue Radio. Tell us a little bit about what's going on. I mean, clearly we even heard last time there's some great stuff happening. Black Wall Street. Tell us more.
Yes. So we have a full week full of stuff. So starting today at 2:30, we're going to be talking real estate and money. So follow Rainier Avenue Radio to be talking about real estate and money. Tonight we'll have again the jazz talking. Showcasing all jazz music Black jazz music tonight at 6 to 7. Tomorrow we'll be having Blacks and Trades, how to be your own boss. Look, I work for the radio station, but I'm like, I can't wait to tune into some of this stuff. Blacks and Trades is tomorrow at 5 p.m. Then we'll have a musical performance later on by Bob Loveless and friends at the Columbia City Theater. So you guys, please come in and join us. On Thursday, we'll have hosted by Carmen Jones. We'll have a Blacklash panelist, and they'll be talking about, they'll be analyzing legislations and reforms that have been affecting our Black community. We'll be talking about George Floyd, followed by repeals to private prison bans, Emancipation Proclamation, followed by Black codes, and the list goes on. So please join us on Thursday. Friday, and let me know if I'm dropping this down. You got it too fast. You guys check out Rainier Avenue Radio. I just want to make sure that we are showcasing this whole week full of activities. Friday, again, Seniors Matter, hosted by Brenda Charles. And then later on, this will be at 12:30 p.m. And later on, we'll be opening up the theater at 6 p.m. for our Black Wall Street ceremonies. So I can't wait for that. We'll have exhibits that people can come and see. And then following Saturday, we'll have the Black Wall Street exhibit again, followed by, with Black vendors as well.
Bree, yeah, you're dropping it all, but I'm going to go right back through it all because I think it's so important for us to be able to expand a little bit on the importance of each one of these events. First off, you guys are always hitting multiple sectors, which I think is so key, especially when you're thinking about diversifying audiences. What's important to people? When you talk about Black jazz, that is something that is a real legacy here in Seattle. I think about 12th Avenue Jazz. My grandma would talk about all the amazing Black-owned jazz clubs that were up and down 12th Avenue. It really created opportunities for a plethora of people to come because she would say, look, it was full of Black folks, but we had our Filipino friends there, our Asian friends. People would come, and even white folks sometimes would come when they're trying to look at a really good show. So there's a lot of rich history here around Seattle jazz scene that many people are, I think, just now kind of scratching the surface of. How excited are you that, you guys are doing some events that are going to be pulling out that amazing history?
I'm very excited. For me, like we said the last time, there's a lot of history that I don't know about. And I used to be embarrassed about not knowing about it. But now I'm like, I only know what I know. So it's exciting for me to get to know more. And it's exciting for other people who are just like me who don't know. So yeah.
Come and learn.
Yes, come and learn.
And with some experts too, because I think sometimes too, there's a lot you can study on your own, but there's nothing like being in space with community members and particularly folks who are able to share this history and bring their lived experience into it. I always think that there's something more to be said and done when you're in space, which is what you guys are also creating. You guys have some digital stuff, but you guys are creating like actual events for people to come out and check out.
Yeah.
So you also sat here and talked about the trades. Now, this is something that I think is so important about learning how to be your own boss. We've been doing updates right here for the Rainier Beach High School renovation, right? Build the beach for us, by us. And they've been so intentional. Lighted Construction, who is, heading up that entire redevelopment project, they've been intentional to say, we need to touch Black community. We need to be touching young people who want to learn trades. I think a lot of times people sleep on the trades right now, man, because at the end of the day, that still provides livable wage incomes, right?
And sometimes it provides more livable wages than when we talk about going to college.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that as well. Like even in my household with my children, I'm pushing, you don't just have to go to college. Do you want to own your own business? And if so, this is how we can do it. So I'm excited about highlighting trades because there's so many different options. And as a United States, we've been taught there's only one way to make money. And there's so many different ways. So I love how Tony's brain work is like he's bringing these people in, like you said, real life people, real life experts talking, and we're getting to know it in our community.
Yeah. And also too, I think sometimes it's important for young people and all people really, because even if you want to do like a career change, you're like, you know what? I started out doing this thing. I'm not really feeling it. There's an opportunity for people in our community to not only hear from those who have done it, but also to understand that trades can not just mean that you go work for a company, but you then have a skill set where you can create your own business. And I want to give a special shout out to those of you out there who have believed in yourself enough to say, you know what? I learned something. I'm going to build my business based off of the things I learned. that is really how another way that generational wealth is created.
Yep.
And that brings me to this real estate piece. I mean,
Yes.
you're talking about hitting up real estate. Seattle is a hot market.
It is
still
very hot. Yes.
it was just number 2 in the nation. I'm sure we're still always in the top 3 of the nation when it comes to a hot real estate market. So now they're going to be able to hear from real estate professionals
Yep.
about the market.
Yes, they are. And I wanted to say something about when you said career change. I just want to let everybody know you're never too old to do a career change.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in the process of doing a career change right now. Like, I would have never thought I would be sitting here doing stuff. So you're never too old. But going back to real estate, yes, you'll be able to learn from real life people in the real estate about what's going on in the market. And again, with that, even if your credit is bad, wherever you are, please tune in, because you can hear the information and then start making plans and goals to buy into this market, especially with the rise in rent. You want to invest in the market, and come join us and find out ways.
Yeah, I think you're so right about that. I recently became a homeowner myself, and the truth of the matter is I was just telling my friends, I'm like, it was just a little bit more than I was paying in rent, honestly. And it's so much more worth it, because yes, if something breaks, I got to fix it. But it's also such a learning opportunity. And I've realized that for myself. And it's funny because my sons are seeing it now, right? They're like, oh yeah, you don't got nobody to call, mom. You got to do it. And I'm like, yeah, I guess we'll learn together. Let's all sit around and like look at videos or figure out how to do this. And it really does make you learn more things than you would have thought. And I'm loving that process of it, to be honest. But also too, I want to highlight here that there's a lot of amazing Black professionals in the real estate game. I mean, just yesterday we had Jebediah Gardner on here from Gardner Global, and he was so inspirational to share his story, but also the fact that he's like, look, I didn't start with $1 million, in a fund for me to just start doing this commercial real estate development. He really found ways to make it happen. And there are so many different tips and tricks and tools that people can utilize to get themselves into this game. I think also too, part of it is having game. Part of it is having game. It's like really being able to speak on something, stand firm on it, be able to speak about it in different ways that get people to go, okay, wait a minute, I want to invest in this person. Right. Or I want to invest in your company. Or I think you can do it. You can actually deal with this real estate deal right here. And there's so many different opportunities. Plus, I know that gentrification is one of those waves hitting us hard in Black communities, but some of us have learned how to flip homes ourselves and then keep those homes on the market for Black folks to move back. There's lots of different ways that you can really evolve yourself in the real estate game. So I'm glad you guys are doing that.
Thank you.
And then you mentioned, Bree, seniors, man. Our seniors matter. I love this. This is something that's really important to me because I spend time with a lot of seniors in our community, a lot of our elders. And even when my grandma could go to the Central Area Senior Center, it was just one of her favorite places, right? Because she's like, look, I'm amongst my friends. We're doing things that I love to do. We're playing games I love to play. I'm listening to music that I love. But I think that you're right. There needs to be more of a connection of young people understanding how important our elders are in our community.
Our elders, especially learning in history how important our elders are, getting with your elders and learning about the rich history that they lived and just being there for them. They fought so hard and so long for us, just being there, supporting them. One of the elders from our church mothers just came back to church because of the pandemic. And it was so beautiful to see her. And I was so excited to see her. So seniors are important. So please get out in there in the community and help. Go visit them, give them a call, give them a facial. Yeah. Just go talk to them.
Yeah. Give her a little manicure. I just recently got to spend, I love my grandma and I spend quite a bit of time with her, and just being out in community with her. When I tell you she got dressed to the nines, it's something that it takes me back to the jazz era. My grandma would say, look, y'all don't know how to do it, man. We used to get all the way dressed out. She had her fur on. When I talk about like getting ready to go somewhere.
Oh, yeah, they still get dressed.
Yeah,
it's a good example.
It's like a whole thing. And I was so happy and she was so happy. And the truth is that, we have to talk about this too. Our elders and our seniors, they hold a lot of history.
Yes,
they have a lot of stories that you can learn from as someone who is younger than them. No matter how much younger you are than them, there's always going to be this lived wisdom that you cannot replace, no matter what. So I love that you guys are doing something for the seniors. And then it just takes me to how they are able to even talk about remembering Black towns like Black Wall Street. I was at an event the other day. and somebody was boosting your event. They're like, man, Rainier Avenue Radio, they're going to have Black Wall Street people here. They're going to be talking about
nice
it.
to hear.
Yeah, it was. And I said, oh my gosh. I chimed in because they were having a conversation outside of me and I was nosy. And I chimed in and I said, oh yeah, I know those people putting it on. It's going to be fantastic. So we sat there and had a whole conversation about the excitement that's in community about this Black Wall Street event. I mean, Bree, you've been talking about this almost since the beginning of the month.
Yes. And I'm still equally as excited. Like, I'm like, yes, it's finally here to bring in that piece. I mean, like I said earlier this month, we had a event with another business I'm working with, and it was really fun getting to know all the stuff that happened in Black Wall Street. And then just over this year, talking about reparations and what that looks like, and learning about all the other cities like Black Wall Street that has either been burnt out or drowned out. So it's just exciting to be able to talk about this. And when you talk about gentrification and building houses back in the city, even when we're moving further out, it's still, Black Wall Street still gives me this strength to say we are resilient and we can build no matter where we're at. They're going to want what we have because we're resilient, and we are going to build rich cities, rich communities. So I'm just so excited to learn more about this, and I hope everybody comes out and gets inspired to start their own business, because you can start your own business, get into real estate, build back your communities, buy Black, and buy full price Black. Do not ask for discounts unless, I'm sorry, I just got to keep saying it, unless they offer it. So yeah.
I agree. I love that you put that spin on it, because it is one of the things that I hold dear to my heart. And I'm so thankful that here in Seattle and throughout King County, because I see it happening in South King County too, there's a real resilience. Like, it's like a rebuilding and a burst of energy of Black people who are like, you know what? I got an idea. I'm about to start making my own shirts. I'm about to start, getting fabrics from over here and making my own clothes. Yep. I'm about to start doing this and doing my food and selling my plates. Like, just the fact that we have people that are making candles and all of these things, beautiful things out here in community. I love it. And I'm always here to buy Black. Queen Bree, thank you so much again for joining us. Before we let you go, look right there and let folks know how they can get this list of amazing events you guys have coming up throughout the rest of the month.
Join Rainier Avenue Radio on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and you can keep up with all the latest events. Or you can follow me, Woman on the Rise, on Instagram, Bree Living Woman on the Rise, and I always update as well.
Queen Bree, once again, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. This is our last time for the month. Yeah. Next Monday is the 28th, is the last day. So thank you so much. It's been amazing having you on every week. Thank you for bringing your brilliance to the Morning Update Show. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'll find a way to be back.
Absolutely. You guys stay tuned. After this short break, coming up next, we got Rob Ross. We're going to be, we got Stephan Thomas. Okay. Sorry. Thank you. Salman knows who's coming up next. I just look at the sheet. Stephan Thomas is going to be talking about his run for King County Prosecutor after this short break. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
Every student who wants to play music should have the opportunity to. Do you know any young people that are excited to start learning music or pick their instrument back up? Seattle Jazz Ed is now enrolling for spring classes. Open to youth across the area, all music programs are offered on a sliding scale, pay-what-you-can model, and free loaner instruments are available for every family. Taught by some of Seattle's finest artists, classes are designed to meet musicians where they are in skill level, with options for beginner, intermediate, and advanced level. And this season, we're opening up ensembles with options for drummers, vocalists, and instrumentalists of all kinds. Registering for March classes can be done online or over the phone, and you can learn more by checking out seattlejazzed.org or calling or texting 206-324-JAZZ.
When the pandemic hit, it did affect me. As a barber, I had my own personal reasons why I didn't get vaccinated. At the time, I didn't check the actual source. I thought the vaccine was developed too fast, but I was talking to the doctor and he was telling me more about the vaccine and what it can do to protect us and our family. I wanted to get back to that once was, right? I do feel safe knowing that I am vaccinated. I just hope what I'm saying is reaching into people's heads to know that this is the best decision for all of us.
In the depths of Belize, the travelers come across the waters, harvesting with their hands, learning of resilience rooted deep in the lands, culture thriving like a fire ablaze, sizzling with a pop and a chop, sharing its ways. Knowledge simmers and grinds into the hearts and minds, cutting away from the surface stories and colonial lies, boiling it down, breaking its shell as the truth pours out and gets plated collectively with love. Spooned into bowls, feeding the soul. Garifuna, alive and strong at Palmetto Grove.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Update Show. I'm your host, Trey Holiday. Today, I want to welcome you to a terrific Tuesday right here in the Black Media Matters studio. And we're going to keep this terrific nature going because we got Stephan Thomas in the building, y'all. His run for King County Prosecutor. Let's dive into it. Hi.
Hey, Trey. I feel a little bit starstruck, I'm going to be honest with you. Because one time I was on 12th and Jackson and you pulled up right next to me. I was in the car with my son. I was trying to get your attention. I was honking. I was waving. I was like, Trey's probably going to think I'm some crazy stalker. And so I just let it be. And so now we get to be in this space and have a conversation. So I'm super excited about it.
Wow. Well, you know what? I'm excited as well because honestly, I listened to your ad for King County Prosecutor and I immediately said to Omari, I said, I think that, you know, when we talk about change, we really need it from the whole shebang. What we're going to do is we're going to show your ad just so that people can kind of get a glimpse of what you're about. And then we're going to dive right into it.
Sounds good. People are faced with tough choices every day, and we don't always get it right. As a biracial kid from the south side of Chicago, the choices I made should have landed me in prison. But instead, I had opportunities that led me to law school and becoming a prosecutor. Like so many, my life began with trauma, shame, and isolation. My dad, a civil rights activist, left my family when I was 6, and my mom did everything she could to show me that I was loved. But she could not protect me from being bullied and feeling hopeless. At 13, I joined one of Chicago's largest street gangs because it offered me safety and belonging. I carried a gun, sold drugs, and got arrested 7 times. I'm the person I am today because I reconciled with my dad. I had opportunities to heal from my trauma, and I was able to get a quality education. Working on the front lines as a prosecutor in King County for 8 years and traveling around the country training prosecutors to be better, I have been an eyewitness to our broken criminal justice system. Too many of our communities feel abandoned and don't trust our system is going to work for them. The reality is, our system is a revolving door between jail and homelessness. We have historic murder rates. We send people to prison and they don't come back better. My name is Stephan Thomas and I'm running for King County Prosecutor. Together we can build a movement that will hold our prosecutors accountable to building a system that is innovative and compassionate. A system that centers dignity, equity, and safety. Join me as we transform the justice system in Martin Luther King County.
Paid for by people for Stephan Thomas.
Whoa, Stephan, that ad says a lot. And literally it sets people up to get to know a little bit more about who you are. But while we have you here, tell the people a little bit more about who you are and why you're running for King County Prosecutor.
You know, it started in 2020. I was living in New Orleans at the time. I had been in Seattle for 12 years. My wife wanted to take a chaplaincy training program in New Orleans. So we were in New Orleans and George Floyd was murdered. And I'm watching from afar all of my friends, Dominique Davis, I'm watching Omari, I'm watching that 10,000 people marching in silence. I'm hearing people screaming out, King County, get your knee off my neck. And I'm asking myself, like so many did at that time, what can I uniquely do to make a difference? Started calling elders, started calling friends in Seattle. And the universal message to me is you got to come back here and run for prosecutor. There's never been someone like you who has your lived experience and your professional experience who's been in this position. Would you be willing to come back? I had put an offer on a house in New Orleans. I was going to live the easy life. I came back here to the rain and cold because change is needed in our criminal justice system. desperately. We got twofold issues. One, people feel abandoned right now. When you walk down 3rd Avenue, people feel like, oh my God, who is showing up for the people who are intent shooting up heroin in their arms? On the other hand, you got people who are saying that this system is racist, is working exactly as designed to oppress Black people and other people of color. And so there needs to be some fundamental transformation. And the question is, how are we going to do that?
Yeah, how are we going to do it? I mean, we hear from, people running for office all the time. And at the end of the day, you may have great ideas about what to bring to the table, but you also need support to see them come through to fruition. Tell us about some of the ways that you're really putting your feelers out there to understand if you get this job that you're going to have what it takes to make this effective change. Because again, this is a system that doesn't want to change. So how are you going to ensure that some of your ideas come through to the finish line?
I appreciate you said that, because changing the face of who's at the prosecutor's office is not going to be enough. It's all about a movement. This has to be something that people demand change, that you want restorative justice, that you want treatment on demand, that you want us to build housing, affordable housing for all these folks that are on the streets right now. Like, this has to be something that we rise up, Black people, white people, rich people, poor people, that we all ask for this change together. That's the only way that it's going to happen. And what I'm doing is saying I'm willing to speak truth to power. I'm willing to bring people together. I'm willing to ask for help. I'm willing to admit where the fault lines are and where we need change at. I'm willing to do that, but it's going to take all of us coming together to make it happen.
Yeah, this kind of is very reminiscent of the mayor's message of One Seattle, right? The idea is that, you're talking about it from a county level, which involves so many other cities. But ultimately, these ideas around how some people actually are very fine with these status quos. Like, they benefit from the status quos. And so to see change sometimes in their minds means that they will receive less of a benefit. And so I know that in community organizing, oftentimes we're saying the very same thing that you're saying. It's going to take more than just the Black community to change the plight of Black community, because it took so much more than Black people to get us into that position. So again, and we hear these things around, well, it took 400 years to, make this happen. Now it's going to take however many more years to get out of it. But the idea is that it really has to start somewhere. I think the boldness of what you're talking about is really, really inspiring. But again, inspiration doesn't move everyone. So I love that you're already saying that you're willing to make that happen. I mean, when you think about your experience, right? You were talking about as a youth being in the criminal justice system, or injustice system, as some say, yourself. How are you willing to bring that lived experience to a position like King County Prosecutor?
I'm being open and honest about it. And to tell you the truth, I wasn't always like that when I first became a prosecutor. I felt that my lived experience didn't matter. That what mattered is you went to Yale or you went to Harvard or you had all this experience trying cases. But now I know the power of what it means that when I see a brother or sister that comes into the courtroom, I identify with them. One of the first people that I ever had a case with was a young Black male who was 15 years old, reminded me of myself. And so when you have that thought in your mind, you remind me of me. That could have been me. You begin to make different types of decisions. When I see folks living on the streets, but for the grace of God, there go I. Right? And so that changes your perspective. Then you begin to have a certain level of passion, a certain level of energy, a certain level of willingness to demand that we collaborate and come together and put resources into we know what really makes change. And so my lived experience is kind of the fuel that energizes everything that I do, because I can really identify, not intellectually, but in my heart. And right now, if we don't lead with a heart of compassion, we're not going to get to where we want to be.
I agree 1,000%. And it's something that I think when I think about it, because I come from, again, this community kind of organizing perspective. And oftentimes I think, the criminal justice system is one that is so antiquated. It is based on all of the oppressions that we can even think of and speak of. Ultimately, the ideas of it needs to be an inward and outward approach. And I've heard my elders say this oftentimes, that they have tried that. And then certain people, they'll back somebody to like work the system from the inside, while others are working it from the outside. And unfortunately, the inside man turns into a fully inside man. And so these ideas around you being able to be bold and innovative in this position, something that is so antiquated, how do you see yourself being able to push past some of those barriers that exist within the very system that you're trying to change?
I'm willing to be held accountable. I'm willing for people to call me out. When I get into that position, if I become just another status quo person, I am asking for people to show up at my office, call my phone number, call my wife. You know what I mean? Seriously, call my community, hold me accountable, right? Because I'm part of this community. I can't separate myself from you. And that's the thing that I've always loved about our community, is that we have a sense of collective responsibility. And that's something that we need to expand that circle to include all of King County, that we care about one another, that if you're out there on the street, that's my brother or my sister, my neighbor. So I need to care about what's going on with them. That means that I have to be talking about intervention. I have to be talking about prevention, or I'm disrespecting my elders, my community, and my neighbors. And so I think that willingness to be held accountable really comes, again, because I'm part of this community. I'm not separate from, I'm not different from. I am one of you and you are one of me. And so that makes a humongous difference. And also the willingness to be able to listen, right? When you have felt the pain, right? When you have really, really felt it, you've experienced it, you know what it's like to be victimized like I do. You know what it's like not to feel safe, to be anxious and looking over your shoulder. I know what that feeling is like. And I tell you, I don't want my kids, I don't want my neighbors growing up in an environment like that. We got kids right now in King County who feel like the only way that they can be safe is to pick up a gun. I know what that's like. And I also know what got me out. And I know what the experts on the streets are telling me, how we can get these young people out. So let's do that, and let's massively invest in that work. I don't want to just be about reactive, right? Waiting for someone to cause harm, and then I'm going to lock you up. Let's get out ahead of these things before it becomes a much, much more bigger problem.
Well, this is really intriguing to me, because I agree with what you're saying here in terms of the approach. You were talking about your friends out there on the street in 2020. I mean, Dominique Davis over there doing amazing work with community passageways. We have, Sean Good, Choose 180. We actually have some amazing community leaders that are already really setting the tone for what is necessary when we talk about change. How will you be incorporating these community style approaches into your work as King County Prosecutor, if at all? Like, how will you be able to do that?
Well, I've already done it. I worked at the King County Prosecutor's Office for 8 years. 2 of those years I spent on the executive team as the Director of Community Justice Initiatives, where I was partnering with folks like Dominique Davis and Sean Good in order to provide interventions for our young people. So that's been a value of mine that's been near and dear to my heart. It was Doug Wheeler, Dom's dad, who was really the person who really lit the fire under my butt. It says, listen, son, we need you in that place. We need your perspective. But when you're there, we need you to have courage. Speak up, speak truth to power. And when I knew that he had my back, when I knew community had my back, it allowed me to be more bold. It allowed me to take more risks. And then, you know what? Instead of firing me, I actually got promoted as a result of that. Because at the end of the day, people want fairness and people want safety. And that's universal. Because folks know that safety is the foundation for prosperity. We're never going to have Black Wall Street renaissance again if our streets are unsafe. We're never going to have entrepreneurs and business folks who are thriving if our streets are not safe. And how do we do that? Not by doubling down, by locking people up, because we know that takes people out of the economy. We do that by getting them into trades, by getting them into home ownership. Right? We get it by make sure that they have the mental health care that they need. Those are the things that we know keep us safe. We've been calling out that for decades and decades and decades. We got a lot of law enforcement, but we didn't get those other things. It's time now that we stand up as a community and demand that we have the full spectrum, that we be treated as a holistic people that need all of these needs met. And I think when we have that foundation, we will prosper.
I agree. I mean, we talk about this idea of treating the whole person all the time in community, and it's so near and dear to my heart. And because I have two sons, young Black, princes that are going to be
Come on.
kings one day, right? That I'm raising. And I'm always thinking about how these systems that have been put in place are super antiquated, but also targeted towards them, targeted to see them in a certain light. And, that as Black people, we've always talked about how we have to work so much harder than others around us because we're constantly having to show and prove ourselves to a certain degree. We don't get the same opportunities to make mistakes. So I want to give you a second here to address people in community that say, the entire system is run amok and needs to be thrown out, but also this ideas of, hey, I'm the bag. If I get locked up into any one of these private institutions, these prisons, right? I'm the bag. Like what officers are getting, they're getting bonuses for actually having me in jail, having me in prison. What do you say to this entire pipeline? We talk about school to prison pipeline, but really it's this idea that in education system, students are the bag. But when we talk about the criminal injustice system, criminals or people that they deem as criminals being locked up, that's the bag. There's people that have stocks on these folks in these prisons for them to keep their population up at upwards of 90% and above. There's certain demographics and data that now has come out that says this is what this whole system is about. It is about criminalizing activity at every level so that you can actually keep these markers up for the investors of these prisons to still feel like they're gaining something on their investment. What do you say to those folks who say this entire thing is run amok?
We've settled for such a poor vision of what a prosecutor and what justice system should be about. Right? At the end of the day, like when someone caused harm, like people have been causing harm since Cain killed Abel, right? So we know that's going to happen. We know people are going to cause harm. But when it happens, how do we build restoration and redemption into the process? Because that's what we need right now. At the end of the day, the best way to keep our community safe is to ensure that the system is designed around redemption instead of punishment. Now, that is going to take up a movement of people who are demanding that, who are demanding those types of things. And so again, it's not going to be one individual. It's going to be all of us rising up to say, this is the system that we want to build. You have rightfully said that this system is antiquated, was never designed with any intelligence in mind, was never designed around data, was never designed around public health principles or any of those things. Well, it's time that we actually do that work. And we actually design something that is going to work for everybody. And that is going to take people in positions of power of saying, this is where we need to go. This is the future of the criminal justice system. I'm willing to say those hard things, and I'm willing to point that North Star, but it's going to take all of us joining together and demanding that we want that system, because everything that you said is absolutely correct. And what I do not want to do is to put lipstick on any pig. Right? I want to make sure that we have a future that we can all be proud of, that your sons, if God forbid something ever happened to them, or if they ever did something, that we can say, man, but I know that process is going to help my young one to heal. I know that process is going to give them what they need to move on instead of crippling them and creating them as second-class citizens. Now, can we do that? I have a lot of hope, Trey. I have a lot of hope that it's possible. I wouldn't be running if I didn't have that hope. And we have to have that hope, because right now, people are feeling a lot of despair when it comes to the system, when it comes to the current state of justice and public safety. But I'm hopeful, and I'm hopeful that we got to point our North Star, because our people, as you said on the last segment, are so resilient. Yeah. We do not stop. We keep going. And so we're fire forged, as I like to say. We've been through the fire. We're unstoppable. Let's keep on moving.
Let's keep on moving. Stephan Thomas, absolutely. Really appreciate you giving us some time today. Before we let you go, right there into that camera, let folks know how they can support your campaign.
Hey, you can check me out at votestephanthomas.com. You can follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter, get with me on Facebook. Hey, look, you can call me. I'm going to give you my phone number, area code 630-776-4288. Give me a call. I'd be happy to talk with you. Peace and blessings, y'all.
Oh, amazing. And you know what? Hey, we do need something. That is the truth. We need something different in this position of King County prosecutor. So, kudos to you for putting your name in the hat and being hopeful that we can actually have some change. We'll see how it all riles up. I know Omari's like, this is going to get a hefty race. It may get really hefty. So you may have a lot of work ahead of you. But thank you for joining us today and giving our audience a little bit more about who you are.
It's a lot of work ahead of me, but I am willing to take on that task, and I'm super excited to do it. So thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Well, you guys heard it right there from the man himself, Stephan Thomas. He's right here saying, look, he believes that change is doable, and he's going to put his run in the hat to make sure that it happens. After this short break, you guys, coming up next, we got our guy, Rob Ross, joining us. We're going to be talking about United Business Connection. I wanted to make sure I got it right. United Business Connection. They having a great event coming up this weekend. So we're going to dive into it, Rob, right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
Hey guys, Besa Gordon here. And before heading to Belize, Trey Holiday and I had to make sure we linked up with our good friends over at Market Street Shoes to, of course, grab a few things for the trip. From bags to socks, shoes, sunglasses, earrings, and more. Before going on any trip, make sure you stop at Market Street Shoes. Trust me, you'll find just what you need to make your trip not only enjoyable, but fashionable.
In the depths of Belize, the travelers come across the waters, harvesting with their hands, learning of resilience rooted deep in the lands, culture thriving like a fire ablaze, sizzling with a pop and a chop, sharing its ways. Knowledge simmers and grinds into the hearts and minds, cutting away from the surface stories and colonial lies, boiling it down, breaking its shell as the truth pours out and gets plated collectively with love, spooned into bowls, feeding the soul. Garifuna, alive and strong at Palmetto Grove.
When the pandemic hit, it did affect me. As a barber, I had my own personal reasons why I didn't get vaccinated. At the time, I didn't check the actual source. I thought the vaccine was developed too fast, but I was talking to the doctor and he was telling me more about the vaccine and what it can do to protect us and our family. I wanted to get back to that once was, right? I do feel safe knowing that I am vaccinated. I just hope what I'm saying is reaching into people's heads to know that this is the best decision for all of us.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Sorry, we're over here talking. Welcome back to the Morning Update Show. I'm your host, Trey Holiday. And joining me right now on set is Rob Ross. We're going to be talking about United Business Connection, right?
Black Vendors Market.
Hey, keeping the Black vendors going. What's up, Rob? Thanks for joining.
Man, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's talk a little bit about who you are and what you've been doing in community because, people want to know, man. Who is Rob?
Well, Rob Ross is a guy that's been through a lot of different transitions in his life. And the more I transition, the more I understand life a little bit more. And so now business is like one of my biggest things right now. So I'm into doing business. I'm about to write a book. I'm going to write a book. It's going to be a small guide to success and things of that nature. Talk about stress, talk about depression, things like that. Because I've actually, went through that before. So I know a little bit of things about how people can do that because I didn't take not a pill for it neither. So things like that. But it's about community right now, though. Real talk.
Yeah, no, I think as Queen Bree was here just talking about it from Rainier Avenue Radio's perspective, so much of it is about community connection right now. And having opportunities to support Black vendors is really key when we talk about circulating Black dollars. Tell us about what got you to say, I need to put on a Black vendor market during Black History Month.
Well, this is not what we've done for just only Black History Month. We've done this before that. And so we started this a few months back. And the reason why we did that is because, I started my own clothing line. And I was looking around, going to certain different vendor things and just seeing how they ran them and how they would ran. I was like, these are all great, but there's some things missing. So what I felt was missing was a little bit of entertainment, a little bit of somebody speaking and talking about the community being together as a whole. So usually I host that myself and I do the talking about it and just let everybody know that if we come together, if it's 2 of us and we both bring 10 people, we have 22 people in the event. So just things of that nature, letting everybody know that if you do your part, you can actually make things happen. So I wanted people to be able to say, okay, I want to be at this event, but I also want to learn a little bit more information about how to get people to come to this event and things of that nature like that.
Yeah, spreading it out in that regard. Like, I think that's so important. Plus, then you have people that know your brand or know you as a vendor or business owner, and now they're in this same kind of space, being able to support other Black business owners. I think that I like that model. I think it definitely works out well. So you guys are going to be incorporating some different things. You have this event coming up, Langston Hughes. Tell us all a little bit more about this.
So we have Mr. Larry Gossett coming out to speak. And Larry Gossett is going to talk a little bit about the history of Mr. Langston Hughes, about the Langston Hughes Performing Arts Center itself, and talk about when it started and what it was started for. And he's also going to I'm going to spill it a little bit. His son, one of his children's names, they named him Langston. Yeah. So he's so excited about that and talk about himself. I have a couple of artists. I'm always going to bring artists. Whenever I do an event, I started off promoting shows and things of that nature first. So I accompany that all together. So I have that all together. Also, I want to make sure before I go any further talking about this, I want to make sure that I put out there that Netta from one of my friends, she is from Ruby Pearls, and she is actually one of the founders with me. So it's not just me doing this myself. I have a female companion that's actually on the side of me. So she makes sure that she keeps me on the go. So it's not just me, it's me and someone else doing this also. So I want to make sure I throw that out there.
Yeah. And I think I saw there on the flyer, you guys are also going to be having the podcast, you're doing a live recording. Is that right?
We've been doing that. Just like I said, this is our 3rd event. And we have a Blackberry Note with no seeds. It was a couple of my guys, and they've been holding it down. They come out there and do a live thing, and they actually give everybody a chance to come out and get on there and actually talk about their actual business. So that way they're not just sitting in a business where we're talking about my stuff and her stuff, is that they can go sit down and talk about what they have going on and how that people can find them as well. So just trying to make it all, it's just trying to bring it all together. Man.
And that's my guy, BZ2 Slaps.
Yes, BZ2 Slaps and James Supo.
Yeah.
Or Jaguar James.
Yeah. And the thing is that they also have their own clothing too that they've been doing. Man, I told BZ, man, that whole logo is fly as all get out. It is super dope. So you're really bringing it all together, Rob. And just because you're a business owner, you know how important it is to stay connected to community. I want to talk a little bit about that. Why it's important for community to participate in these events.
So important. And the biggest thing for me is as people always are speaking support, and they're always acting as if they're supporting, and they don't understand support's not always you coming and spending $1 with me. You don't have to buy anything from me if you come to this event. I'm okay with that. There's going to be like 25, 30 other vendors. I don't care if you don't come and buy not one thing. But what I won't have and won't like if you don't come site, just at least come to me and say, hey, how you doing? I see you over here. I appreciate you guys doing it. That's what I like. I just want people to know that it's a community thing, and it's not always again about spending money to support. It's always sometimes about just telling somebody about the event, telling somebody about my store that I have, telling somebody to come check me out with my U-Haul plug. I'm a U-Haul dealer. I have my own U-Haul dealership. So if you want a U-Haul, check your boy out. You know what I'm saying? Watch out for me. I plug all the time, every time. But no, seriously, my biggest thing is, like I said, I was watching these events and I went to them and I seen how they ran. And I'm not showing no shame on nobody else's thing, but I know what happens is they're wanting these events where they can grab $1 off of the situation, and they're just putting them together and they have no structure to them. And so, everybody's there and they're just running around rampant, which is okay. That's what they want to do. I'm okay with that. But with mine, I want to make sure I shared a little information to everybody that comes across me. I had a female the other day. She said she went out to an event. I said, "You take any flyers?" And she goes, "Well, I didn't take no flyers because I didn't want to take them to that event." I said, "Sweetheart, I ask everybody to bring their flyers to our events because it's a community-based thing and we're trying to network." I said, if you don't tell nobody where you're going to be the next week, then how do you think they're going to come there? You think they're just going to come because you're just going to be there, it's going to pop up on it? So I want people to know that when you're doing something, you got to always speak what you're doing. You got to pass out your flyers. You got to pass out your cards. You got to give people your information, because networking is very, very big. And if you don't network, you'll never have no net worth.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to keep it
so true, Rob. I just appreciate you for coming on. And it looks like you brought some goodies with you today.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, bring something from O2, but look at me. Let me squeeze that here a little bit. I bring you a shirt, and I see you like orange, so it made me feel good when I saw that you love orange already.
Look at that.
So, you know, Colossal Life is the brand, and you can check me out anytime. You can hit me up on any social media. And yeah, just check me out. And Colossal Life is what we're selling right now, but that's where we're at with it. I'm into my branding right now. I'm just really trying to brand that. And Colossal Life means more than just me putting it on a shirt. Colossal means extremely large. And so that was one of my affirmations that I always went through. And it was just saying, you know, colossal life, just live big, just think big, and just don't do nothing. Don't worry about small things, but at the same time, don't run yourself and try to do small things. Try to be big in your life. So that's what I try to do every day. Try to live colossal.
Well, I love it so much. One last time, look right there. Let folks know how they can participate in this event coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, we still have a few slots left right now. So if you would like to get into that, you definitely can log on to Facebook. We have a page on Facebook. It's United Business Connections Black Vendors Market. And also the email is ubcblackvendorsmarket@gmail.com. And you also can check me out in Skyway. That's where my spot's at. 11805 Renton Avenue South. Up there in the grocery outlets parking lot. You can't miss us. Got the U-Haul logos and everything around there. You see my Pinchin logos on the window.
Oh, amazing. Rob, thank you so much for being with me today.
Man,
Appreciate you.
I appreciate you guys having us here. And like I said, this Saturday, you guys come check us out. We'll be at the Langston Hughes Performing Arts Center with the United Business Connection Black Vendors Market.
Amazing. Amazing. Oh, you guys, we have a quick break coming up, and then I'll be wrapping up the show right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
Every student who wants to play music should have the opportunity to. Do you know any young people that are excited to start learning music or pick their instrument back up? Seattle Jazz Ed is now enrolling for spring classes. Open to youth across the area, all music programs are offered on a sliding scale, pay-what-you-can model, and free loaner instruments are available for every family. Taught by some of Seattle's finest artists, classes are designed to meet musicians where they are in skill level with options for beginner, intermediate, and advanced level. And this season, we're opening up ensembles with options for drummers, vocalists, and instrumentalists of all kinds. Registering for March classes can be done online or over the phone, and you can learn more by checking out seattlejazzed.org or calling or texting 206-324-JAZZ.
All right, welcome back to the Morning Update Show. A little over time, but I had to get this in here. There was an amazing clip from the last episode. Episode 3 aired yesterday. Our girl T-Dub at the Art of the Matter. Somebody from the audience was able to ask a question of Kevin. Let's go ahead and check this out.
Okay, Kevin, a question for you from one of our viewers is, what is your favorite piece?
My favorite piece is, do they mean one that I have done before?
Yes, one that I'm going to say one that you made, yeah.
It was an ocelot I did though. I think I have a picture here that I think I'll show it to you guys.
Yeah.
Let me get it. This is an ocelot I did way back in 2018, right now.
2018. Yeah, you guys, Kevin's only been painting for 5 years, so that's a huge deal.
This one here.
Oh, wow.
That's my favorite one though. It has a lot of details. Yeah, it's a very nice piece though.
That is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Wow. I mean, we're over here in the studio just talking about how realistic that painting looks. Shout out to UT Dub and Kevin for another amazing episode of Art of the Matter. That was episode 3. You guys can still check that out anywhere that you guys are watching the Morning Update show right now. And we have some amazing news. We're going to be doing Converge Media Day at the Opera. We're going to be at McCall Hall on the 26th and the 27th. If you guys are looking to come down and see this amazing show, Blue, with a lot of amazing Black opera singers, you guys email Besa, BESA, at whereweconverge.com. Besa is going to be making sure you guys get your tickets to this show. Again, if you've never experienced the opera, if you want to bring family and friends, please email Besa so that we can have an amazing Converge Day. We have 2 days, 2 nights that you guys can come on the 26th or the 27th. Also, you guys, tomorrow, as always, I mean, we have a full show on Wednesdays already, but we're going to be interviewing one of the opera singers that are in Blue. Joshua Conyers will be joining us tomorrow on the Morning Update show. And we have our recurring guest. Of course, we got Mike Davis from the South Seattle Emerald and Clapback Culture. He'll be joining us, talking a little bit about what to expect this week on Clapback. And then we got our twins, Ronald and Ronell. They'll be joining us as well from the Factors TV, talking about what they have coming up this week on their show. You guys, just an amazing show all around. And you know, I got to put this in here because I'm excited about this couple coming, traveling while Black in Seattle. We got Anthony and Marie Love. They will also be joining us tomorrow. We got a good clip from them, so I'm looking forward to seeing that and actually having all of you join us once again. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. As always, from my perspective, see yourself as a part of the solution. As all of our guests have done here today, I want you guys to be inspired. And as O would say, go forward in your purpose, go forward in your humanity. Until tomorrow at 11 a.m., y'all. Peace.
What do I see through a lens of fear? 1,000 little steps to go. What do I fear after all these years? Lord knows I don't even know. I've been running on the edge of a sundial, sleeping in the shadow. I've been begging you to see me, then hiding beyond the unreachable. Looking out left on a right-hand turn, just trying to make a deal. Lazy shoes and love is a love that turn. That's the kind of food that heals. I've been searching for the end of an era, waiting to be ready. The world is bigger than a moment. Be steady, that's how you can feel it's real. But I feel naked. I got used to hiding